Philippa Gamse, web strategy expert, certified management consultant, the speaker that everyone with a website should hear at least once.
People buy emotionally, they don't buy intellectually. Even when we think we're making a rational decision, there's gut-level instinctive reactions going on. There's that feeling in your stomach, there's that intuition, even if you don't think you're particularly intuitive, that's governing what we're deciding to do. In the real world, we learn all sorts of skills in order to handle this and to create relationships and to create connections. So we work on our listening skills, we work on hearing people, we work on mirroring and reflecting and selling and so forth. And something seems to happen when we get to the web. And think about the number of websites that you've been to that perhaps are kind of flat, maybe they're bland, they feel like a brochure, they don't create any emotional experience in you. And yet we know that emotion governs how we buy. Sometimes they do worse. Sometimes they actually create negative emotions in you. People are looking at your websites. Even if you aren't the person responsible for the site, even if you're not the person who gives input to the site, your website is having an impact on your business success. And how it makes your visitors feel is crucial in creating that impact. Think about when we have a conversation. The first thing that we do is we recognize each other. So I see a friend of mine sitting here in the front row. So yesterday I saw her and I said, "Hi Marianne, how are you?" And we hugged and she said, "Great to see you, how are you?" If we don't know each other, we would have introduced ourselves. I would have found out your name and we would have said hello that way. But either way, there's a recognition piece going on. There's an introductory piece. And I know I feel comfortable, I want to have this conversation. So I want to start having a feeling that says, I'm in the right place right now. You know who I am as the visitor. There's a clear connection between your site and my needs and interests. So make me feel welcome on your site. But let's just look at what I mean by recognition. This is actually the Georgia World Congress Center site. Logically, you're probably one of three main segments of visitors to them. So if you look at what they do, I'll bring up some arrows here. Right at the top of the screen, they immediately say, okay, are you an event planner? If so, click here. Are you an exhibitor? Okay, click here. Are you an attendee? Okay, click here. And they immediately take you to a page that talks to that segment of their audience about what they have to offer them. So I don't have to plow through a whole load of stuff if I'm exhibiting about event planning and so forth. Self-selection on a site, so where you recognize the different segments of your audience and take them to the place that's for them, just that can speak to their language and their needs, is a great thing to do. So take a look at your home pages. Take a look at what's in there that people might want to click and what you can do to use that to draw them into your content.
The best discussion I've seen on website strategic development. Exceptional ideas, quantifiable answers.
Of things actually just to keep interest and keep people on your site for a little while, but there are some funky little things you can do as well. I thought this was cool. A lot of people ask me about color and the relationship of color to the emotional appeal of a website. And you know what the problem with that, I think, is that, I mean, there are some colors that are pretty weird, but in general, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So what I really like may not be what you really like. So on this site, Reno Tahoe's site, they actually have a color selector, which I thought was kind of cool. And so you see you can have all of these different colors here. So if you don't like the blue that we have right now, you can change it to orange. How do you like that? Kind of a little bit bright? Okay, let's try, I think this is teal. And I found myself literally playing with the colors, going, I wonder which one I like. And of course, while I'm playing with the colors, I'm on the site and I'm also noticing what else they've got. Here we have Barry Manilow. And I have to tell you, every time you go to the homepage of the Las Vegas Hilton site, Barry sings at you. Now, how do I say this nicely? Barry isn't necessarily totally my cup of tea, but this site kept me on it because I kept trying to click on Johnny Mathis to see if I can get Johnny Mathis to sing at me. Didn't work. what's happened for me, I have a tremendous number of articles on my website, and it seems to me that if you showcase your expertise enough, people will say, this person knows what they're doing, I need this person. I need this person to do what they're talking about for me. If you get somebody who says, well, I know how to do it now, they probably weren't going to lay out the money for you in the first place. And I was also asked in my surveys about organic search and search engines. And let me tell you something else. Content on your site, not the piece where you're selling stuff, but for those of you who sell any kind of expertise, professional services, destination, information, and so on, that content is what gets you into Google. And I can tell you that I walk my talk. I believe I still am, but for quite a long time now, I have been #1 on Google for the search website strategy, which is what I do. So, and this is to inspire all of you smaller sites out there, because I'm a one-person company.